This week, a Drexel University professor by the name of George Ciccariello made a pretty bigoted tweet regarding one of our nation's smallest minority groups. In fact, this group of people has the largest violent mortality rate amongst any group in the United States, oftentimes dying younger and in more horrific ways than you can imagine. As an example, on June 6, 1940, over 29 of these individuals were killed in a single day. Are you shocked yet? Outraged? Well, you should be. Now, if you haven't heard anything about this tweet, don't worry, you're not alone, because the mainstream media has largely remained silent about this controversy, because this minority wasn't transgendered. They weren't Muslim, they weren't gay, they were a veteran. As of 2014, veterans make up less than 7.3% of the U.S. population, and an even smaller number of Americans are currently serving in the armed forces. How small? Less than 1% of our population, approximately 2 million people. Compare that to the 3.8% of individuals who claim to be a part of the LGBT community, or 9.5 million people. So the question we have to ask is, in this situation, who's the real minority? Now, if a professor had made a comment about holding back vomit when a first-class seat was given up for a gay couple or an African American, would the left be silent? Not a shot in hell. You can bet all the money in your bank account that there would be riots. Students would storm the administration and demand the firing of not only this professor, but the dean as well. CNN, MSNBC, and all the mainstream media outlets would cover the protests as they often do and paint the protesters in a sympathetic light, decrying the racism of the administration even when no real evidence has been presented to substantiate these claims. And how do we know this? Because this is the reaction to a college professor who dared to agree with an email posing the questions that perhaps it was not racist to wear a costume on Halloween.
Be quiet! For all Stillman students. You understand that? As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in Stillman. You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
no, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that?
However, this situation is different. This professor's bigotry towards veterans is in clear display. Leftists often scream that a college should be a safe space for minorities and marginalized individuals. So what is more disenfranchising than a college professor publicly displaying their hatred of a real minority, some of whom may currently be enrolled in his course? Using the left's logic, isn't being forced to hide who you are for fear of consequences from someone in power the very definition of bigotry? How can any veteran have any reasonable expectation that their status as a vet would not become a detriment to their grade in his or any other course on campus, and in turn to their financial situation as a whole? As veterans often receive tuition and board through the GI Bill, their eligibility oftentimes requires them to meet a certain GPA. Failure to maintain that standard may result in the veteran not only losing their benefits, but also being forced to pay back any money received during that time, which could result in thousands upon thousands of dollars of debt, all because a professor is bigoted towards a veteran. It's time to stand up for minority rights in this country. You can't have it both ways. The students need to rise up and demand the firing of this individual, or they need to sit down and shut up forever. Either the university rids this man from their staff, or the federal government should remove funding from this university, especially when it comes to the money they receive on account of those same veterans that the university is failing to protect. This same money that they are getting from the federal government would go to be paying this bigot. How insane is that? But we all know that nothing is going to happen to this guy. Drexel University will do exactly the same thing they did the last time this idiot spouted off at the mouth. Nothing. And how do we know this? Because this is the exact same professor who said last December that all he wanted for Christmas was white genocide. Ironically, this douchebag himself is also white, and when burned by the internet for this insane tweet, he made the excuse that it was just a joke. But that seemed to go against his narrative, as he has also stated in the past that when 4,000 white people were killed during the Haitian Revolution, it was a good thing. After numerous calls for his firing, Drexel investigated the issue and ended up releasing a statement claiming the professor's tweets fall under the category of protected speech and that he wouldn't lose his job. Imagine that. Again, imagine if he had said black genocide or gay genocide. Would it have been the same result? Since it seems that this guy hates everyone, including veterans, and it appears he hates himself, this self-hating racist who once called for the extermination for an entire race should do us all a favor and make the world a better place by leading by example and taking a long walk off a short pier. By standing by and allowing this man to keep his job. After this obvious display of bigotry, Drexel is endorsing this behavior and in turn is saying that they agree with his views. Any veteran considering enrolling in this college should also examine where they want to spend their well-deserved benefits, because Drexel University is not the place for them.